Hello, and how are you? My name is Winnie Barawa. Welcome to the session on fat-soluble vitamins. If you're new here, this is a channel that basically covers lectures, lessons, and interviews relating to healthcare. If that's something that excites you, kindly remember to be with us to the end and also remember to subscribe or click on the subscribe button and watch the video to the end. It's very interesting. So let's remind ourselves of the classes of vitamins. So we said vitamins are contained of two types, water solubles and the fat solubles. Our focus for now here is the fat solubles. And the fat soluble vitamins are four of them, where we have vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, and vitamin E. And those are going to be our focus for the class. So let's begin with the first class, that is vitamin A. So the fat-soluble vitamins includes four vitamins, that is vitamin A, D, E, and K. The four fat-soluble vitamins are normally absorbed by the globules, allowing them to travel through our intestinal walls, and through these intestinal walls can also be absorbed into the bloodstream, and if they are excess, they can be stored in the fatty tissues or in the adipose tissues. So the largest amount of fat-soluble vitamins can actually be obtained from fatty foods or fish liver oils. Our body can generate a few of it, but largely we will get it from diet, more in the fatty foods and in the fish liver oils. So vitamin A. Vitamin A includes components of retinol. We have also retinoic acids and carotenoids. So where do we get vitamin A? We can get it from sources of red meat, carrots, can also get it from sweet potatoes, broccolis, mangoes, peppers, avocados, and watermelons. So with this in mind, it means therefore the vitamin A's can basically be found in readily available components or vegetables and fruits. So what happens is, in case where the vitamin A's are in deficiency in our body system, we can have cases whereby there's retarded growth in the young children, bringing out disorders of poor growth and stunted growth. But also in our eyes, you can have illnesses like xerophthalmia, night blindness, and it can also produce reproductive disorders such as infertilities. But on the other side, what vitamin A does in terms of functionality is it plays a very huge role on our vision. It promotes genetic transcription, there's immunity, it also carries along embryonic development and reproduction. It participates in bone metabolism, hematopoiesis, that is formation of blood cells, and we also have skin and cell regeneration. But it also has some antioxidant activities. That is, it can prevent the reaction in our cells through the free radicals. So it keeps us safe from unnecessary damages or unnecessary destruction of our cells from free radicals or free elements in our body. Then we have vitamin D. Vitamin D is also said to be the sunshine vitamin. What does it mean? It simply means vitamin D can be synthesized in our skin during exposure to ultraviolet rays of our sunlight. Majorly, this happens in the early morning hours for countries that have good supply of sunlight. In early hours like 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., we get good supply of UV rays that are very good for synthesis of vitamin D. So what are the most important provitamins or provitamin Ds in our system? So vitamin D has two main ones, where we have vitamin D3 and vitamin D2. These are very important part of the vitamins. So vitamin D3 is also known as cholecalciferol, which is very important, and it's formed from 7-dehydrocholesterol, which is part and parcel of activating our calcium intakes and strengthening the bones and the teeth in our body systems. Well, the other bit that is very important is vitamin D2, known as calciferols. These ones are also known as ergosterols or ergocalciferols. Very key in working together with D3 to facilitate the bone formation and strengthening. So in short, vitamin D does not work alone. It works with calciums and it works with the phosphates. This is for the purpose of calcium absorption in our bones, that is important for strengthening both the bones and strengthening also the teeth. So where do we get this vitamin D? You obtain it largely from sunlight, more so in the early mornings. You can also get it from fish, from cod liver oils, milk, cheese, margarine, liver, and also meat. These can be good sources of vitamin D, but large of this vitamin D comes from the sunlight or the sun rays. The functionality of our vitamin D is that it maintains our normal bone and teeth formation. It's facilitating absorption and utilization of the calcium and phosphates for the purpose of bone formation and strengthening. And vitamin D will help us balance our calcium levels. And calcium is very important more so because it's very key in our blood vessels in terms of the walls, contraction and relaxation. And so it can actually regulate our blood pressure. And it participates in promoting the cell growth. Deficiency of vitamin D can lead to retarded growth. It can bring rickets, it can bring osteoporosis, and we can also have osteomalacia. These are illnesses that comes about when we do not have enough vitamin D, more so because of the poor bone the poor bone formation and the poor cell growth. So it brings out these deficiencies. For vitamin E, also you can call it tocopherols. Vitamin E has mainly two categories here, where we have tocopherols and tocotrienols. It's also said sometimes to be the anti-sterility vitamin. It's also said to be the antioxidant vitamins. Well, it's an important vitamin because it carries majority of these functions, where it carries anti-sterility or it's worked together to promote fertilization. It also has antioxidant properties. It also has anti-aging properties. So basically, vitamin E does a lot of work around these three areas. So you can find it in vegetable oils such as sunflower oils, corn oils, and even in the margarines. And so what are the functions of vitamin E? So it's a very important vitamin because it carries a lot of important functions, and one of it is essentials for reproduction and fertility. It's also important in transport, where it acts as an electron acceptor in the mitochondria. It's a very good element in the purpose of free radical scavengers. That is, it gets rid of free radicals that can easily damage our cells, so it prevents inflammation, that is. It can also protect the low density lipids from oxidation. And oxidation here we mean a state whereby you are able to break down these lipids into elements that can be absorbed and eliminated. So for this case, they protect these low density lipids, which are the good lipids in our body system, and it can prevent rancidity. Because of this, we are told when you expose lipids to the environment, they can get oxidized and become stale. So the state where fats and lipids become stale when they get exposed is where we call it rancidity. Now, because vitamin E has the ability of preventing low density lipids from being oxidized, it automatically means it will prevent rancidity. And rancidity, we are defining it as a state whereby lipids become uh, exposed to the environment, where they get oxidized and expire, or they end up becoming stale and useless. That is the state we are calling rancidity. So because it gets protected from oxidation by vitamin E, we therefore say vitamin E can protect or prevent rancidity of fats and oils. It's also important, so vitamin E is important in protein and nucleic acid metabolism. It has anti-inflammatory roles, that is, prevents inflammation. It acts as a coenzyme in chemical reactions, and it works closely to prevent platelet aggregation. Most of this comes out when we have issues of blood coagulation or we have the pathways for blood clotting processes. The other vitamin is vitamin K. We also call it anti-hemorrhagic vitamin. So vitamin K comes from the German word known as coagulation, meaning blood clot formation. So it also comes in two types. We have vitamin K1 and vitamin K2. K1, we call it piloquinone, okay? And K2, we call it menaquinones. So it's produced naturally though in our intestines by bacteria, and naturally you can also obtain it from spinach, broccolis, cabbages, lettuce, and even vegetable oils. But the main functions of our vitamin K, it's important for production of clotting factors, which will help a lot in the coagulation processes. And because of this, vitamin K is very, very active during blood coagulation processes, and it will prevent us from excessive bleeding and blood loss. In case of deficiencies, vitamin K deficiency can lead to serious hemorrhage cases, more so from wounds and also bruises. So that's how key vitamin K is. Thank you so much for staying with us to the end. If you like this content, please remember to comment. You can also subscribe, share these videos with your classmates. I will really, really appreciate each and every one of you who shares this channel and invites their friends to come into this channel. It's a healthcare channel. If you're into all these courses are relating to healthcare, and this channel is promoting your learning and promoting your abilities to understand your units, thank you so much for being always committed. Bye bye, and see you in our next lessons.